fantasy basketball season. And here's a few guards I will look to sell high or trade this week. The first guy is John Wall of the Houston Rockets. So John Wall, once again, he's injured here, is Wall. But Wall, he's been pretty solid this season for the Houston Rockets, even though the Rockets, they're pretty much the worst team in the NBA right now, losing 17 games in a row on the season. Wall, he's ranked 139th with 21 points a game, 3.2 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 threes a game, 74% from the foul line and 42% from the field. But the last few weeks, he's at 36 points a game, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 threes per game, 63% from the foul line and 40% from the field. So John Wall, the last time he played was March 3rd, where he had a huge ball game. But since then, he's been out now. And tonight versus the Golden State Warriors, I doubt John Wall's going to play in this one. There's reports he's going to come back Friday, but he's already banged up. He's injured. This team's out of it. And with this knee injury again, there's rumors that he might need surgery. So if I'm a Wall owner right now, I'm pretty much trading him for anything I could get, because obviously we know the Rockets aren't going anywhere. We know John Wall's probably going to need another surgery, and it wouldn't surprise to see him get shut down in the next 2 or 3 weeks here, because the Rockets, even with 30 games left pretty much in the NBA season, they're out of it, and they're tail spinning down the rankings. So John Wall, if I could get a decent return for him, this is the time to do it before he's out for the season, and you can't get nothing from him. The next guard I look to trade is DeMar DeRozan of the San Antonio Spurs. So DeRozan, he's been out the last couple games with the personal matter. We know he'll be back as DeRozan, but it's just been a hard time for DeRozan now with the passing of his father the last few weeks, and his numbers have dropped off as well on the season. He's having a great year though, no doubt about it. Ranked 53rd in fantasy basketball, 20.3 points a game, 4.7 rebounds, 7.3 assists, a steal a game, 88% from the foul line and 49% from the field. But the last few weeks, it's been still solid for DeRozan. In the games he's played, 25 points a game, 3 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 2 steals a game, 75% from the foul line and 50% from the field. So DeRozan, we haven't seen him since March 10th, where he had a big ball game. But I think these assist numbers aren't going to hold up for him. I know he's playing at a high level right now, and this Spurs team's playing pretty well, but I just don't see it. March 4th for DeRozan versus the Thunder, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Then March 10th at Dallas, his last game he played in, 30 points, 11 assists, and 4 steals. So he's playing over his head, is DeRozan. I think he's a free agent after the season, so he's trying to cash in that big contract. But now he hasn't played in a few weeks, and I think he's going to be rusty. I don't think the numbers are going to be up to par. And if I could get something of decency, you definitely trade away DeRozan. I'm not saying trade him just to dump him off and get anything, but I'm saying trade him away and try to get something good, because I don't think he's going to keep up these numbers, and we don't know for sure when he's coming back. The next guard I'd look to trade off this week or so high is Will Barton of the Denver Nuggets. So Will Barton, it's been a tough season for him, up and down season as well. On the season, he's ranked 162 in fantasy basketball, 12.4 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 3.1 assists, 1.8 threes a game, 75% from the foul line, and 44% from the field. But the last few weeks, he's really taken a step up, is Barton, ranked 24th in this time with 21.3 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.7 steals a game, 5 3-pointers a game, 71% from the foul line, and 46% from the field. So Will Barton, he's had 3 games in a row now since they returned from the All-Star break, the Denver Nuggets, where he scored 20 or more points. And he's a perfect sell-high candidate, because most of the season he was droppable at a few times during the year with bad performances and limited minutes. But March 12th in Memphis, 21 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, and 3 steals. March 13th versus Dallas, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 5 3-pointers. And then a few nights ago versus the Indiana Pacers, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, and 5 threes. So Will Barton, he's hitting the 3 ball at a great rate right now, but I just don't see him keeping it up. And now with all this scoring and stuff that he's doing, his value's at its peak, and he's a player I definitely would look to sell high. And you probably would have to package him with someone else to get someone better in a deal. But Will Barton, he's definitely a player I will package here with someone and sell him high, because I just don't see him sustaining these numbers and playing at this high of a rate, hitting all these threes a game as well. So I would trade off Barton. The next guard's Terrence Ross of the Orlando Magic. So Terrence Ross, he's another guy with ups and downs, but he's obviously more consistent and a better scorer in my opinion than Will Barton on the season. He's ranked 101 is Terrence Ross with 16 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.1 steals, 2.3 threes a game, 89% from the foul line, 41% from the field. But the last few weeks he's ranked number 9 in fantasy basketball with 29.5 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a whopping 6 threes a game, 90% from the foul line, and 52% from the field. So Terrence Ross, we know he's a good scorer. We know he's a good three-point shooter. But these numbers, they're just not going to stay on this par for him. He's had some huge performances in the few games he's played over the last few weeks. And there's rumblings that the Magic have him on the trade block as well, a week ahead of the March 25th trade deadline that's soonly approaching. So a lot of moves are going to happen within the next few weeks. But Ross, he's definitely played well in the last 3 games he's performed in. March 1st versus Dallas, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block and 3 threes. March 3rd versus the Atlanta Hawks, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 4 3-pointers. And then March 14th versus the Miami Heat, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 3-pointers, and 52% from the field. So that was a game for the ages for him, hitting 8 3-pointers. But I just don't see him keeping up these performances and this hot shooting. He's a streaky shooter, is Ross. And if I could sell him off high or package him as well like Will Barton with someone else, this is the week to do it. And the 5th and final guard I look to sell high or trade away this week's R.J. Barrett of the New York Knicks. So R.J. Barrett, he's starting to live up to the hype. On the season, he's ranked 188 with 17.2 points a game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.2 threes a game, 73% from the foul line, and 45% from the field for R.J. Barrett. But the last few weeks, he's definitely playing great basketball, ranked 62nd in that time with 23 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.2 threes a game, 76% from the foul line, and 53% from the field. So Barrett, he's had big performances in the last 3 out of his 4 ball games, even though the Knicks have lost a couple tough ones of late. But R.J. Barrett, he's playing well. He's developing, but I just don't know if his shooting's going to stay at this good of a rate right now, because he's an erratic shooter. We've seen a lot of slumps and struggles for the second-year player, but he's obviously a player taking the next step in his career already, and I think he's going to be a good one. But this year, I just don't see him being as consistent as he has the last few games, and I would look to trade him off if the right deal's out there. March 13th versus the Thunder, his best game probably of his career, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 3 threes. March 15th at the Brooklyn Nets, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block, and a 3. And then last night in a tough loss at Philly, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. So R.J. Barrett, he's putting up production. His shooting percentage has been pretty good since the All-Star break has come out. 60, 57, 42, and 41 last night. But that's been the problem with him, is the shooting percentage. And these high-scoring games, I think, are going to drop off as well as Barrett. I think he's going to average anywhere from the 15 to the 18-point range. So right now, if he's a player, I would look to sell off high if I could get something good for him. So that's a few guards I would look to sell here or trade off in Week 12 of the fantasy basketball season.